Welcome to Two Girls in a Pod Life's Journey, where we explore the journey of becoming the best version of ourselves. Join me, Christy, and my partner Sharon, a licensed professional counselor for over 20 years, as we dive into conversations with inspiring individuals who've overcome obstacles and achieved their goals. We'll discuss the power of self-awareness, compassion, and collaboration, and how embracing our authentic selves can create a ripple effect of positive change. Let's embark on this path of growth, empowerment, and connection together. I want to remind you to follow us on social media. If you love this podcast, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Blue Sky. If you'd like to find out more about what goes on behind the scenes, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Adventures of Two Girls in a Pod, where we highlight some of our travels near and far. Or watch Sharon mix up a batch of drinkable delights on Sip and Savor. Also, if you love this podcast, leave us a review on Spotify. This helps us get discovered by even more amazing listeners like yourself. Share with your friends and family, and make sure to subscribe to our website at twogirlsinapod.com so that you never miss an episode. Thanks for listening.
Hello, and welcome back to Two Girls in a Pod Life's Journey. Wow, it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
And it's been a minute because we've really been looking at how do we make this better?
Mm-hmm.
How do we revamp it? How do we
refresh it?
Yeah. But anyway, so in that came the idea for this podcast today is, when do you know you need to ask for help?
Yeah.
Well, we came to that place, and one of the things is that there are people out there who are social media wizards. I bow to them.
Yeah.
Because that's not our forte.
You don't realize how much time and effort goes into that until you really start trying to navigate it all on your own.
Yeah, not so easy. And when you also have a job, so it's not like it's your full-time job to do social media. Anyway, so we've been a little, I don't know if it's stubborn or you've been wanting to figure this stuff out.
That's what I think it is for me. It's always a challenge when there's something that I've not done before and I can't give up. I just want to continue to research and find the answers on my own. But in doing that, I delay progress.
And sometimes I get frustrated with them. They're like, stop it. Go Google, go YouTube, go do this, go do that.
Sometimes I am Googling and YouTubing, and I am doing, in fact, not just sometimes, I'm doing all of that. So I'm researching.
Yes. So in the process, we said, no. So we're going to actually get somebody to do that piece of it. But it became that thing of helping, asking for help. And, one of the things is I was doing New Vibe, and we were talking about that. And one of the things is we get so caught up in our patterns that we don't hear messages. And we can get very fixated. It's kind of like if somebody's taking a road the same, I love that when we like history. And, when they show, they know these people took this same path because even 500 years later, you can still see the path those wheels took because they did it all the time. And you never see them veer. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what it is we are in our life, we get in these patterns and we just keep going and we go and we go. And then when other people are giving us messages that might be very helpful for us, we're not hearing and receiving the help because we are so caught in that pattern. Mm-hmm. So we were talking about that today. And, it really resonated because I know we realized we were caught in this pattern of, no, I think we can do this. It can't be that hard. I mean, or whatever.
We post stuff online all the time.
We kind of know what we're doing. But the truth of the matter is we don't know what we're doing. Okay, we know a little bit of what we're doing. But I think it's even like when we first started this podcast, we just said, we did it on a wing and a prayer, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But we've loved it. And because we have a passion for it, and because it's something that's important to us, we are willing to listen. And that's why we're changing it up a little bit. We're so excited because we're going to have more guests on and we're going to do more of that because we want to know those stories. We want to know what is the life journey of this person that they started here. And guess what? They got out of their own pattern in order to learn something different, to hear the messages. So we're really excited about that. And so we're looking at how do we do this and how do we bring content to the listener that's going to resonate with them and that's going to draw them in and that they're going to say, oh my God, to their friends and to their family and coworkers and even their enemies. What the heck? Acquaintances to go listen to Two Girls in a Pod, Life's Journey, because it has some valuable information. It's about people's stories, and we all have stories. So that was kind of the thing that sparked this particular podcast for us.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the problems is it's almost kind of disguised that you're in a pattern because you think you're open to learning a new thing to make this happen. You feel like, you're doing the work to be productive and, learn how to do something. So that feels like you're still doing something, but eventually you may end up spinning your wheels because you're stuck in that pattern. And then you're not actually moving forward the way you want.
And so mine was called Helping Hands this morning. And it was about how come we have such a problem asking for help? One of the listeners had a really good thing. She said, well, sometimes culturally, we're taught that it's no, or you don't ask for help because somehow that's not okay, or it's a show of weakness, whatever it is, or we take care of our own, whatever that concept is around that.
Or I know that you had mentioned that she said about not having the help after asking in the past. So it became, a thing of not asking.
And I think that is huge. I think that oftentimes what people will do is they will ask somebody for help. The answer is no. And so it kind of solidifies in their head. Well, that means now the answer is no, even in the future.
It makes you reluctant to ask.
Yeah. And particularly if you get one no, you'll kind of maybe go back and you'll say, okay, and they might get an answer. But I think that if you get 3 no's in a row, then you're going to be more apt to say, well, I'm not supposed to ask for help. Or if I'm going to ask for help, the answer is going to be no anyway. So why bother?
Yeah.
That's how quickly our brain will take that message in and make it the new pattern. So then it doesn't just stay in that arena. What I think we do is then it's like, okay, well, dad said no. And then, well, dad said no, mom said no, dad said no. So now it's just no. Parents are always going to say no. But then what happens is we take that maybe into a school setting. I'm not going to have to ask the teacher because they're just going to say no. Or I'm not. Do you see what I mean? It's such a quick to the brain sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that quick message, I think we stay kind of stuck in that routine of, then we get that sense of helplessness.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then when we really, really, really need help, we are less apt to ask for it. And that's really when we need to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
And then the flip side of that is, of this whole conversation is why aren't we helping others? What prevents us from helping others? One of the gentlemen, he jumps on my talks almost weekly and I absolutely love it. And I love Terry. He said, do you think sometimes it's because I was saying, it's kind of like if you're outside and somebody falls down and you might say, not my problem. I'm not going to get involved. So we have some of that, not going to get involved. But then he brought up something else. He goes, it's like people are doing this as they're even walking. He goes, do you feel like it's a lack of awareness as well?
Yeah, they're too busy looking at their phones and totally distracted.
Yeah, or we're not present with our surroundings even.
Yeah.
When he was saying, he goes, it's kind of like if you see somebody and they're struggling with their groceries, why wouldn't you do that? And you had that experience the other day. Somebody was struggling to get the door open to the store. And so you saw that and you didn't sit there and wait.
No, I went and I held the door for her. And I mean, she was so grateful.
that she ended up buying our products.
She
She
did.
paid for our stuff.
That was
So she paid it forward.
Yes.
And that's the thing. You're not doing it for that reason. But I think it's because sometimes people are saying, this isn't happening enough. We're not extending that helping hand like it used to be. And I'm not comparing today with, oh, yes, 10 years ago or 20 years. That's not what it is. It's that human connectedness that I'm talking about.
I mean, it's not about comparing back then. It may have been the same even back then, but I do feel like that there's sometimes there's this hesitation in helping someone else when you see something, because I'm not really sure where that comes from, what this feeling is that you almost feel like you're overstepping a bound by reaching out to help this person, because sometimes it's not received well. I mean, we have heard
Oh,
of situations where
wow, that's a really good
you go to reach out to
point.
help someone and they're offended or something by it.
And I have a great example of that. One of my clients was telling me, he goes, I was really caught off guard by something. And I go, what? He goes, I was in the store, the guy's in front of me, and he uses his card. It's not working. And so he's getting really agitated. He goes, it wasn't a whole lot of stuff. He goes, but part of it was I needed to get to work. So I really wanted him my turn. So he goes, it was partly about me, but partly about, dude, it's not that much. So he tells me, he goes, I'll just go in and take care of it. It might have been 15, 20 bucks. It wasn't a lot. The guy goes, give me a minute. So he runs out to his truck, gets another card, comes back in. That none of it's working. So my guy once again goes, you know what? It is no problem. He goes, let me do this for you. The kind of like that pay it forward thing. The guy went off on him. What do you think I am? He tells him his position and everything. And you think I don't have money? I mean, it was this, he goes, I'm just there like, I just wanted to first off get to work and do something kind. So I think you're right. It's really, you think you're doing a good thing, and it's like
It's not always received well. And I don't know what that is, and I don't know how a person discerns whether or not it's a good idea to do it.
And I told him, I said, in his response to you, he felt like you were viewing him as less than, not equal, as
Yeah.
far as finances go.
And
So that became ego that got involved with that.
And maybe it was because that was around finance, but I feel like that can happen even. We were coming out of a store the other day and this lady dropped her cane. She was already in the process of bending down to get it. So she was nearly to it by the time I was walking past her. So I didn't say anything. And your sister was behind us. And she said to her, "Can I pick it up for you?" And I don't know if she did. I never looked
No,
back.
the lady already had it because she had already had it in her hand.
Yeah, and that's why I thought but I always feel this hesitation of how is that person going to receive that? Are you thinking I'm not able to do this? Or I don't know. But I'm thinking if you're walking with a cane, you might want some assistance. I don't know.
And I think there's so much of that we're having that hesitation.
Yeah.
But I know for me, regardless of that, I'm going to offer my assistance. If you choose not to take it, I'm not going to be offended.
Yeah.
I might be confused, as my client was. He was so confused. He was just there like, I don't even understand what happened here.
I don't want to be yelled at.
He yelled at me. He insulted me. He goes, and everybody in the store is just, they're like, dude, calm down. He's just trying. I don't need your help either. And it was just like, okay.
Yeah.
And he said all he had to do was say no thing, but it was crazy. So I agree. I think there is a hesitation because people don't know what to do. Okay. I know for our neighbors, they're an older couple. We love them dearly. And I know he was having some issues with his heart and stuff. And so the wife had told the she was having this. And it was a day it had snowed, and I was out there and I was shoveling, and I thought, I'm going to shovel to his thing. And he came out shortly later and he goes, I was going to do that. And I says, yeah, but I was already out here and I needed my little exercise for the day or whatever. And he was fine with it. But I noticed the next snowstorm, what he did is he had his snowblower and he went and did ours.
Mm.
He stopped several times. And I thought, I'm not going to go out there and say, no, you don't have to do that, whatever. When I went back out and I saw him there, I just, oh, well, thank you for doing that. Because I understood what was happening.
It was his way of giving back.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you might find a bag of vegetables on your fence. We're giving you vegetables, or, they give us lots of tomatoes and garlic and onions. So we have a lot of pico de gallo
Jalapenos.
and jalapenos. But that's their thing. And, because they appreciate, we go check on them. We make sure they're doing okay.
Yeah.
Those are the things.
I think it's a little bit easier to reciprocate when it's somebody you know. But I also think that when it's a situation like we're talking and it's someone you don't know, you do have a little more of that hesitation.
And I think that's really true. There's so much, once again, we just get so caught in those patterns. And there was another gentleman who jumped on, and he is part of addiction. So he goes to addictions groups. It's codependency and that. And he was saying, he goes, this last week, he goes, I had to leave the group. He says, because the people in there, he goes, are like, they don't want the help. So when they're telling him, and he goes, but then I remembered, he goes, because when I said that thing about sometimes we're so caught in our pattern of behavior that we're not aware, we're not hearing messages. He goes, I realized that was me. It triggered me. He said, because when I first started this, he goes, I remember going to that first meeting. He goes, I'm in there thinking, I'm in here with other people, but I'm just here. I know what I'm doing. I'm taking care of me. I've taken care of my problem. He goes, and I realized, no, I hadn't. You start being the same because we feel like, in particular, I think when we have addictions or health issues or mental health issues and things like that, we feel like we know better or we don't want to hear. If we go in, and it was really funny, we were talking to our friend and she says, I've had to change my eating habits because of some health issues. And she's doing it. She wanted the help and she's doing it. But how many times do we hear people who go to the doctor, your mom,
How was her?
She wanted to go to the doctor. She would not miss appointments. We were taking to all of her appointments, but you need to eat this way or do this or do that. I ain't gonna do that. And then she wonders why they would write non-compliant with treatment. And she goes, well, why would they? I do too. She thought going to the appointment
Getting the information
was the help.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then applying it was a different thing.
And once again, and then when we aren't getting better, we're blaming. And one of the people jumped on, they had said something, and the person goes, well, we went to therapy and everything, and it just didn't work. And I says, nothing works if we don't invest. I said, as a therapist, I always tell my clients, I am here to give you ideas, suggestions, be along on this ride for you, but I don't get to do it for you. You have to invest in the ideas. And I'll tell them, if you use the idea, let me know well, they might use one. Oh, it didn't work. So you learned to drive a car the first time? No. You learned to tie your shoes? No.
We build a pattern of behavior over time. And it could be a bad one, or we can implement one that's more useful and effective.
But that's what we run into is this idea that something's going to change external to us. If I go and ask for help, then the asking for help is the solution. But it's only the start. You are always the solution.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, whatever you invest is the solution.
Right.
And I think that's where people are also, when they're asking for help, once again, because they're in that pattern, I've asked for the help. Okay, this is what I asked for help. It doesn't work. So then that pattern stays. So why am I going to ask for help?
And in fact, one of your listeners, you said that had mentioned about lack of services in some communities and that sustaining that pattern because they become complacent because they don't have access.
Yeah. And she said, well, it's really hard. She says, because she's actually from Panama. And she says, where I'm from, there we didn't have like mental health services or certain health services or stuff. She says, and because we didn't have them, we learned to not ask for them. And I told her, I said, yes, but we live in a electronic society. I says, where now you can almost get any service via this. But I said, but because they're stuck in that pattern, even if you suggest, and she says exactly, she said, I suggested new vibe to them. They go, well, I don't think that would work. Or I don't know if I have time for that. Or it becomes these things because it's so foreign to them and it's outside of what they're already doing.
It's hard for them to embrace it.
And I get it, and once again, that's the thing of asking for help. But the thing that baffles me a lot is that people are not helping others. And once again, we're having all these little things that are interfering with that human connectedness that we should be having.
It seems like I say, not comparing way back to now, but a lot of people don't, it's not the same even in passing. You don't have a lot of dialogue between people. If you don't know somebody, you pretty much kind of just stick to yourself and don't say anything. So it's like,
And that's one of the reasons I love hiking in Colorado. I don't know about in other states, and it may be another state. I'm only going to talk about what I know here. Is when we're hiking, people will always, hi, good morning,
yeah.
hi, good morning. So if there's 70 people, you, hi, good morning, to all of them.
Unless there's earbuds in, and then
Yeah.
they're in their own
But they'll
zone.
still do the little
Usually a
head.
nod.
And then every once in a while, you'll get people who they're like, hi, and they're like, they'll give you that look, and they're like, you're new to hiking, aren't you?
You're not from around here.
But that's what it is. It's like doing. It's like those charitable acts that we do for people. It's like my kid, when I told him we're doing pro bono, well, why would you do that? Once you realize what that meant, you're not going to get paid for me. Why would you do that? And I told her, because I care about you. And because we've been on this journey and it's not your fault, you lost your insurance. So why am I going to give you a consequence or a punishment
Right.
for something that's outside your control? And once again, I really love working with them. And I think that was something that was really big in our practice. I said every year I will do one pro bono. And when I say that, that's pro bono for the year if that's what they need. If it's 5 months, then I would do another pro bono. So it's a total of 1 year of pro bono work. Because I feel like we have an obligation in this human race, in this humanity that we have, to give back. And it's not about what is received in that instance. It's that connected. It's such an important piece to me. And I know it is to you. And it's something that we've done. We've made a practice.
I think it adds to our well-being to be in that place of giving, to be in that place of showing that kindness or offering that help. That is about who we are as individuals.
And I know for me, my dad was notorious for this. Sometimes to my mom's aggravation, depending on what it was. But he was constantly giving. He was constantly giving. He was extremely nice to everybody. My dad knew everybody. Everybody knew him. He would go talk to everybody. He would tell me, Hita, come to the store with me. I'm thinking, how much time do I have? Is this going to take long? Oh, no. Everybody in the store, and I'm just still there like, okay. But I watched him. And we role model behavior for children. Now, am I going to be as friendly as my dad? No. I don't have that much time. No. Kidding. He talked about everything. Anyway, but the thing is, and I know sometimes even for you probably can get a little frustrating. I can be in the store and people will just start telling me their stuff. And she's just sitting there and I just listen.
Or go on vacation and sit in the pool, and then you have all kinds of people that will come and talk to you.
She's afraid to leave me alone. And when I say this, I'm really sincere. They're minding my own business. Okay. And then pretty soon somebody comes up, then pretty soon, but so by the time she comes out, there's these people. The good thing on this last vacation, a friend was with me the whole time. But even that, they were still coming up and talking with us and stuff.
Yeah, you still were interacting with others. Well, no, I mean, I don't care, but
It just happens. But I always feel like, you know what? If somebody's going to take, because time is important,
yeah.
Everybody's time is valuable. And if somebody's going to take that time to stop and talk to me, I will converse with them. I will respond to them. You know what I mean?
And you never know what connections you're going to make. I mean, it's worth the time if
We-
you have it.
We were in Puerto we're in there and we're talking to the people in the pool. And then she goes, oh, I have my own boutique. So we did a podcast with her, I Marie Boutique. And, you know, she had this fabulous story about how she started with nothing and now she's extremely successful.
Got this great clothing line and
yeah, I Marie Boutique. Go check it out on Instagram, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so these are the things that happened. And I think that's what it is. It's just small acts of kindness.
Yeah.
And so when we do it in that way, we don't realize we're probably helping out people without them having to sit there and say, hey, can you help me out? Can you listen to me for a minute? People don't have to. I think that if we're waiting for somebody to ask us for help, oftentimes it's not going to happen in the same way. But if we just show kindness, sometimes it's going to do it. And I was telling about, and we were talking with our friend yesterday, and we went to the granddaughter's birthday party, and he was saying about how he wants to remodel his kitchen. And he was saying that one day he's driving out and he sees he's never met the neighbor or anything, but the neighbor was struggling moving something. So he pulls over and he says, hey, dude, I'll help you move that. So he ends up helping him. They made this friendship. Now this guy knows about remodel and is going to help him with the remodel of his kitchen. This is how these things work.
Yeah.
But none of this is going to work if we do not start engaging with others. When we did programs in the school that I was in, we would do stuff like that. We would have different kids sit with each other, or we would find out what ideas or what things they liked and then kind of help hook them up or whatever that is. So they have that sense of belonging and stuff. So asking for help, the helping hands is so much bigger than just my thing of us saying, oh my God, we need help with social media. We are making a connection. The gentleman who does our editing has done our editing from the beginning. He's not here. But guess what? He'll write remarks to us. So we still have this kind of relationship, and we really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. And even going forward, the person that we're meeting with to help with the social media, that is somebody that we finally reached out through someone else. And hopefully, this connection will work. So, but we had to start somewhere and talk to somebody about the help we needed. But I think that anytime that we're able to offer to someone else, that is only going to bring back around to us those opportunities for us to ask for help when we need it. Because we do that in our lives for others.
And you know what? I don't know. I just had this moment or right now. You know what I realized too is even on our podcast, we need, in order to be successful on the podcast, we need subscribers, followers, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like asking people for something. And you get this mentality. So, and this is another mentality, I think, is that if you have the mentality, if your family or friends or acquaintances, whoever, if they're having a food drive or this drive or that drive, you just do it. You do it because you're helping them out. And then there's almost this thing of thinking, okay, well, they're going to feel the same way and do it back. And it doesn't always work that way. And in fact, one of our friends who has a business, she does eyebrows and stuff. She posted a thing on there that said her biggest supporters of her business are not her family and her friends sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that kind of sad in a way?
It is. But I mean, And not to say, because I really appreciate all of our friends and family that have taken the time to invest in going and listening and doing all of those things. But yeah,
What my
sometimes
follow-up was is that that's on us too. We have to be willing to go to them and say, will you help us out a little bit? Instead of maybe if maybe they don't know, maybe you can't go into this place of, oh, they just don't want to support me, because we ran into our friend yesterday and she goes, geez, I didn't know y'all were doing that. Tell me your things and I'll follow you.
hence the reason we need somebody with social media skills to really get us out there.
So do you see what I mean? It's twofold. So the if we make the assumption that they're just not doing it because maybe they don't really like us, I don't know, whatever.
Some of them are technologically challenged and don't know how to get to things that they're like, I definitely want to listen. Can you please tell me how? We appreciate, we'll help you out.
I do. We have one of the friend we went with. She'll say, I'm technologically challenged. So I'm there like, okay, let's set it all up for you.
Yeah.
So we set it up for her and she goes, and she'll listen when she remembers, but she's always constantly moving and doing and that. But that's what I tell him. So in asking, we also have to be willing to ask all of our viewers, and not just our viewers, but to ask everybody to listen, to support us. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your acquaintances, coworkers, people you don't like. We don't care.
If you hear a podcast that somebody needs, share that to them.
But do you see what I mean? That's something that we've been working on, because it's almost like you don't want to impose, or you get all these stupid ideas.
Yeah.
But we're doing a social platform where what do we have to do? We have to sell ourselves. My goodness, we have to pimp ourselves out. And I'm not too proud now. Darn it, we've been doing this for 4 years. So that's kind of where it's at. We have to get better at it. We have to get better at asking people to support us, because we can't blame them for not supporting us if we're not even promoting ourselves.
We have to believe that we're worthy of that, of someone else's time in doing that, when investing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing. We get too heady. We get too stuck in our patterns to hear messages. And the only way we hear messages is when we stop. And if I need help, to truly just say, I need help, and stop the rhetoric that's going on to listen to that message. And this whole thing with this social media, we had been talking about it. We had reached out to somebody, hadn't heard back, all of this. And then we're going, and our friend who happens to do our hair too, and we're great friends with, started talking with us about this. And she says, I know I got to do some social media stuff and that. And we're there like, so do we. And she even said, what do you, and we're developing this partnership, hopefully, in being able to do this. But she needed the help. She wouldn't ask for it either. We needed the help. We weren't asking for it. And then together, now we figured this out.
You have to be willing to have those conversations. My mom was notorious for hinting about something she wanted somebody to just volunteer to do, but she didn't want to actually ask for the help to do it.
And if they didn't pick up on the hint, how dare they? See, they don't really want to help people. They say they want to help people, but they don't want to help. Well, no, because, and we would tell them, stop hinting, just ask for help.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people do that because they think that if I just state my need, you're just going to kick in and do it.
Some
that might work, but it might not. And you still need to be able to say that's what you need.
Yeah. So I guess our thing is to encourage people, if you need help in whatever arena it is, whatever that arena is, ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see those people and they need something, it's within your ability to do, then do it. That starts to build those connections that we need.
Yeah.
And we got to get out of our own way. And you're always saying that. You're always saying sometimes we get our own way more than anybody else does.
Yeah, I think that's
around technology.
I think that's true with most people. And I mean, a lot of times it has to do with fear.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, I think even like people who think like they're, and I think this was something that made me think about you in high school and math. And then what happened?
Which part? It was also traumatic.
No, until 1 year it wasn't.
Yeah. I had 1 year in high school of, I at least had a B in math,
But
an A
why?
for part of it.
Why?
I had this teacher that was just able to communicate it with me and help me understand it. And I had never had that before.
Exactly, because you didn't have to go ask him for help, or maybe you did, but either way, he saw it and he was able to do it. But had that not happened, you would not have even had one good year of math.
I know. One good year of math. But and all the years before that, I think that I was definitely stuck in a pattern because I would ask for the help and then they would try to explain it to me and I still didn't understand. So I was like, why am I asking? It really put me in a rut of being afraid to ask because I thought I'm still not going to understand even when you explain it. I just thought I was not capable of getting this. And like I said, then Mr. Campbell
Came
help
along.
me out.
So even like those moments, and I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Even with you, you grew up not going, you didn't do physical activities, you didn't, and even when I would tell her, so I told her one day, I said, well, let's go kick the ball. And she looked at me like, what? No, I don't kick balls. And they're like, who doesn't do that?
Not coordinated enough for that. What?
I was very confused. And then she tells me, well, I never done that. I said, ever? No. But she also didn't want to try it, but she did.
And she laughed at me.
We're all there like, no, you kick it. Now she kicks balls. But I think it is too sometimes when we're not exposed to things or we're told we can't do things, we get in that pattern of thinking that I'm not capable.
Mhm.
And then when we get in that pattern of not capable, it becomes different. Because I would tell her, well, sure, you can do these things. Sure, you can do. And she would sit there and go, and for the longest time, she wouldn't. And then, whatever reason, there's something clicked in her. And it was like, I'm going to work out. So now she works out, she does yoga, all of these things. But once again, she was never hearing them. I did this message for a few times, didn't hear it. But for some reason, when that happens, when we would get out of our way, we open up a whole different world to us.
When you start believing in yourself.
Exactly. And when we believe in ourselves, we will ask for help and we will give help. So I guess overall, remembering that our patterns of behavior get in the way of listening to messages from others who may have answers for us.
And they may be comfortable, but they're not serving us.
Yes. And the answers they're giving us may make us feel uncomfortable, but they may serve us.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, words of wisdom today. Anyway, as always, we appreciate you. We are so grateful for each and every one of you. So now remember, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, your fourth cousin, 5 times removed, whatever it is. Let them all know to listen to
Share, listen, subscribe.
Yes, to Two Girls in a Pod, Life's Journey, and Adventures of Two Girls in a Pod, Life's Journey. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And we will be back soon. Yeah, I'm not sure if it'll be next week or the week after because we do have an interview scheduled. So we're really excited for 2 up-and-coming interviews that we have. And we think you guys are going to enjoy them. So anyway, thank you once again. And helping hands, man. Helping hands.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.